Hey guys, welcome to Surf and Show. I'm Noel Salas, and today's surfboard review is on the driver by Lost Surfboards. Now I have it in two different constructions. I have it in the Carbon Wrap EPS, and I also have it in the PU. Now the driver is a staple or a mainstay in the Lost board lineup. And every time I'm surfing lowers, and they have team guys or Concave and the pros are out there surfing, I'm always asking them what are they riding, and a lot of them are riding the driver, especially in that 3 to 5, 6 foot range when I feel like lowers is the most shreddable. But they relaunched this and they're calling it the Pro-Formance series because they're stocking the shelves in the surf shops with is the very same glass job that Concave and these team guys are riding. So you're going to get the same performance, and we'll talk about that later. But I rode them both, had a great time on both boards, so sit back and enjoy the show. So we're going to talk about the PU construction first and how they're glassing this board, because that's what the relaunch was about, Pro-Formance. So whatever Griffin Colapinto or the Lost team guys are riding, they want to offer that to the surf community on the surf racks at the shops right now. So what they're doing is they have a single layer of 4-ounce S on the deck. They have a tail patch, and then they have the carbon on the rails. And that is keeping the board super light. And you can also see it as they lap the glass here, it's a little bit cut long, so they're actually adding strength to the rail too. But what you might find at surf shops on a regular basis is a PU board glassed with 2 layers of 4-ounce E cloth on the top. So that's going to give you more durability. It will also give a bit more weight to the board. And so with that durability and weight, you're sacrificing performance. So what they want to do is if you're going to go out and get a performance board, they're going to give you the opportunity to ride this board exactly like the way their pros are riding it. Now I can just tell you for me, most of the time when I ride a PU, they just don't have that snap or liveliness to it in small waves. But we're going to look at some waves later. This board felt great even in smaller surf, and this board is recommended to ride in 3 to 6 foot surf. Now, I'll say this about the driver. I really enjoyed riding it, and this particular board would be a board that I would design a good quiver over. I'd want to ride it in like a 5'7" small wave performance board. It would fit a little bit better in the pocket or in a smaller wave. And I'd also want to ride it maybe as a 5'8" and a 5'9", mess around with the widths, maybe some tail, different tail, maybe a round tail, maybe a swallowtail. I don't know, I'm really into the board and the way it performed for me, even as a PU. And you guys know I'm doing a lot of testing on all the new constructions out there. So this board felt great. Now, let's say you don't want to get this particular glass job that you can find at the surf shop right now because you want it to last longer. Now look, you can tell I've ridden this board probably about 20 times, and the deck is pretty pushed in here. And the bottom line is some people like the pressure dense because it helps them find their groove. And I particularly don't care for too much of that because they just get deeper and deeper and deeper, and before you know it, it's over. And those are the same struggles that the pros have with today. It's all about flex. It's all about this board having lots of life. And when you get a board with a light glass job like that, not only is it going to not last as long, but then like the pros are always putting it on ice and they're trying to save it for contests that they want to ride this particular board at. Anyways, if you don't want to have it in the performance glass, you can order it custom and you can do the stock glass job too. Now, I also want to talk about the carbon wrap. Now, I'm a huge fan of the new constructions coming out, especially in like 4 to 5 feet and under. I love the spring and pop that it gives you. This carbon wrap has a stringless EPS foam core, and then the way they're controlling the torsion flex, that's how the board twists, is they're running these carbon strips on both sides of the board, and that's what's giving it the strength and allowing the board to spring back to its normal state quickly. So now as we talk about, as this carbon comes around to the top here on the toe side for me, since I'm regular footed, and the heel side, that's going to give me extra strength and durability there. And right here is where the board's actually flexing and springing back. So you feel it down the line, and you can also feel it in and out of turns. And that's why I like these new constructions. They're so lively. It feels like there's so much spring in your step or in your surfing. Now, I mentioned it's a stringless EPS core. Well, you see how it has the carbon here? This is acting as the spine. This is acting like a stringer, so it's twisting around this, and this is also giving it strength. Now, as you can see on the deck, the board is a lot more durable than the PU and the Pro-Formance glass job. And that's because of the carbon here. It's also got a different glass layup, but they're running an they're calling it X glass, which the glass runs in an X pattern like this, as opposed to a 0 degree and a 90 degree. And with it running like this, that's also going to help with less buckling. And they're also running a nylon stitch that goes throughout the entire deck of the board, and that's kind of holding everything together too. So I find the carbon wrap to be very lively and exciting to surf in small waves, and durable too. Now, we talked about both constructions, but I just want to say I continue to gravitate towards the PU throughout the entire duration of the review. Now, we've had this board in the review queue for a long time. I was first riding a 5.2 puddlefish when these boards came in, and I was riding that puddlefish for roughly 3 weeks in 1 to 2 foot, occasional 3 foot surf. And then all of a sudden, it jumped to 6 foot surf overnight, and I was waxing up a board that this 5.9, it was just 7 inches longer. So it felt like the turns were long and drawn out, and my stance was really narrow. So it took me some time to get used to this board purely because of the 5.2 puddlefish. And the theory behind ordering in the carbon wrap is that I wanted to see how the board would go in smaller waves. And to be honest with you, if I could do it again, I'd order this board 5.7. I would order another one of these in 5.8 with a round tail, and I would keep this one in for that 3 to 6 foot range. This one would be a swallowtail here. And that's what I meant by I would build a quiver around this particular model. So now as I touch on the attributes of this board, it has a good amount of nose rocker and a low tail rocker. And if you look at the outline, it's relatively simple for a high performance board. It's not a real aggressive pulled in tail. There's not a significant bump or hip, but it just turns so effortlessly, and it was loose, and the board's very smooth rail to rail, and that's one of the things I really like about it. Now with the low tail rocker, it still had the traction, it still had the drive in my cutbacks, and it felt good in the pocket too. And with this nose rocker here, you know when you do a turn in the pocket and you're coming down and the wave has that curve, it's nice to have a little bit of curve here to fit in that. Now, as we look at the concave, it's pretty simple. It's running a moderate single concave all the way through, and then as it gets out here towards the tail, it goes to flat. Now, this board was designed to drive off the back foot, and that's how it felt. It felt like when I'm sitting back, the board would just kind of take off all on its own. So the combination with the concaves and rockers, even though it looks simple, it's got a lot of speed, and it's got flow, and it feels really good off the bottom. So now I want to talk about the fins I chose. I thought it'd be appropriate to use the Kalo Andino fins because this is his favorite model to ride in 3 to 6 foot surf. I chose the large. I'm 170 pounds, and I like the wide base for maximum drive, and I also like that it's the performance core because the performance core is very solid under my feet, but it still has good flex, and it's going to give me good spring in and out of turns. And I thought what would be cool is if we looked at some waves together and we could see how the board's working along with the fins. So as I come off the bottom here, I got lots of traction, and then the board and the fins working together, I feel like I got that spring that I like and able to stay in the wave, and you can see it driving off the back foot the whole time. So they come off the bottom, I feel like this turn feels good. I'm a little off right here, but boom, the board quickly gets its center back and still be able to finish with lots of speed. So sitting on the tail, I feel like you can fit a lot of turns in a small amount of area and still have lots of speed. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the review on the Lost Driver today. I had a great time, and it's one of my favorites for 2017 for sure. Special shout out thanks to Matt Biolas and the folks at Lost for sending the boards down for review. Hey, if you like the show, subscribe. You can also find us at surfandshow.com. That's it for today. See you in the water. Bye-bye.